That's an awesome intro.
All right, welcome everybody to Press Pass Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. I see the chat is popping off. I hope you're digging the Halloween. What am I doing? What am I talking about? This is my problem. It's too late at night. I always do this. I'm like talking around in circles. I hope you enjoy the holiday theme. That's what I was trying to spit out. So it's very holiday theme. Took a lot of time to set it all up. I hope you're digging it because you're stuck with it for the next month, okay, until the new year gets here. But I'm excited for you to be here. Thank you. I see people already in chat. I think I'm flying solo for the long-term Press Pass Live here, which is okay. But when I seen you there, if you plan on hopping in, just let me know after we do our interview. I'll have to do a quick mic hookup, but we can make sure that we get you in here. And we're going to do some predictions tonight. So we're going to give our predictions for season 98. We're going to talk a little bit of FPR stuff that we're seeing. But the thing I'm most excited about is something that we had to put on hold from the draft. This was going to happen draft night, but we wanted to put it on hold. And so we're going to bring it out tonight and welcome one of my favorite people that I've met in the community. I don't know, Brian, it's probably been 3 years, 2 years, something like that. I don't know. I met Brian a while back. They were running an Xbox Madden League, and we got connected just trying to see if there was some synergy there as we were growing the Grown Folks brand and community. I wanted to venture into the Xbox side, which hasn't quite happened yet. And the way that we do it is through both what Brian is doing, and you'll meet him in just a second, and what our friends over at Soden Bowl are doing. It's probably been the most that we've done with Xbox outside of our PUBG clan shooters that we run. And so this is just an amazing fellow. We're going to ask him to come and talk to us about Evolve Sports Live. I think you guys are going to love it. You're going to see this partnership kind of grow over the next year. I'm excited about the possibilities that are going to happen with it. And I hope that you are too. So let me see if I can get us over here. Let's see. Does it work? Look at it. It worked. I can't believe it. Sometimes, Brian, I got to pat myself on the back. Brian, welcome to Press Pass Live. How you doing tonight, bud?
I am doing great, Nate. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
I'm so excited that you're here. This is actually the first time we've seen each other's face, and it may be the first time we've heard each other's voice because we haven't really got to talk. It's just all been through Discord. Brian, tell our friends who you are. Where are you? Like, just tell people about you because you're like a super cool, interesting guy.
Oh, I don't know how I'm going to live up to that description, but thank you. My name is Brian Langell. I'm the founder of Evolve Sports Live, and Nate and I have gone back at least 3 to 5 years. We talk back and forth, we trade ideas back and forth, and we keep having this thing where we got to come together. We got to make this work. And I think finally, the rubber's hitting the road. We're finally going to make that happen. But I am from the East Coast of Canada. We're on Snow Eve. Tomorrow it's going to start snowing, so you can't get much more Canadian than that. And I am part of an Xbox community. We started 9 years ago. We had a podcast called 3-Player Co-op, which was about video gaming. We did video game news of the week, et cetera, et cetera. And we built a community from that, which turned into a gaming community. And then we launched a football league because we had enough people that were interested in football that we were like, we don't want to play lobby games. We don't want to get in there with people who are just going to smash us. We just want to kind of learn together. And we described ourselves as a learner league. And we had no shame in that, no hurt feelings in that. We all kind of learned together. And that's where we started the football side of it. And we ran 9 seasons of the TPCFL. And I mean, I know you're in season 98. So to put this in context, we played 1 game a week, or I think you guys play 2 to 3 games a week. Is that?
Yeah, we're a 3-day advance league, but we started out the first 2 years just a 1 day a week advance.
Yeah, one day a week. Oh, 1 day a week. Okay, like 1 day you were.
No. Yeah. 1 day a week. Every Sunday was our advance day.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. We just wrapped up our ninth season here about a month ago. And yeah, we're going to take a break until Madden 22 comes out, because how we do things is, again, we're not diehard. I mean, we're diehard football fans to play, but we all have other things to do, and sometimes the finances aren't always there. So what we do is we base our year of Madden based on when it comes out in the vault for EA access. So we'll be back in February with another two seasons at that point. But yeah, the community has grown over the years, and we have a lot of fun. We play a lot of different things. Um, I'll get into Evolve Sports Live in a little bit, because that changed how we do things. But as far as the football leagues go, we get together. We have a group at our highest. I think we had like 18 members in the league, which means you still get some computer games there, so you get some padded stats here and there. But the real fun is when you get to play other people, and yeah, that's kind of who I am. And if I'm not managing the Xbox organization, until COVID hit, I was heavily involved with the professional wrestling. I was an announcer for.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I was like, you can't leave out the coolest part, man.
Yeah, I was the announcer for two different companies, and I am the on-screen president I'm the evil promoter of Red Rock Wrestling here in Stratford, PEI. So I'm the bad guy on TV and stuff. So
which is so hard for me to wrap my head around, because I've yet to this is like one of the most innocent is not the word I want to use, but that's what's coming to my head. It's like just the kindest, gentlest soul that I think I've ever talked to. And to imagine him as like an evil Vince McMahon owner, just can't wrap. I'm gonna have to watch this show because I can't wrap my head around it. And Brian, I love that you guys just from day one, there's a couple of things that just from a distance that I have kind of been inspired by, is that you guys do things really, really different. And I love that about the Madden communities, that so many people can do things so differently. And I just love this idea that it's all okay. There is no, I say this all the time, I don't think there is a best league. I think there's just better fits for owners, but depending on what they're looking like that there's a best restaurant. No, if I'm hungry for Italian, there's an Italian restaurant. If I want pizza, if I want a steak, right? You just go to the places that kind of fit what you're looking for. And you guys have always, since I've known you, Brian, been so unapologetic about how you do things. And you guys do some super cool things with the way you pull stats. And I've always wanted to do that and tried to do that. Matter of fact, this is another guy that we can hook you up with. Trying to hook him up with my guy Soden over at Soden Bowl, but that didn't go anywhere. So maybe Brian could help you out because we want to pull stats from Daddy Leagues. But anyway, you guys do so cool, different, and just unique things that I always kind of dug that about you. And I always also laugh because when we first started talking about possible synergy and how could we make something work for both of us, there was always this idea of we're just a handful of friends who play one season of Madden per year, and we just kind of we're not super competitive, or we're not on y'all's level. And I'm we're not competitive. I mean, it gets competitive and we have really good players, but that shouldn't keep you from coming. But I just love what you guys do and just kind of the humans that you represent yourselves as. Talk to me about Evolve. Now, when we first met and started talking, it was kind of the TPC, and things have grown over the past couple of years. And so tell us about Evolve Sports, because it too, like you and the TPC, is so unique in a lot of ways. So tell us about Evolve Sports.
Thanks. Yeah. Evolve Sports kind of came out of, we ended the TPC podcast after 8 years, and we still held on to the name, like TPCFL and TPC Gaming and TPC this and that. But it kind of got to a point where we were we gotta make that disconnect. We gotta move on. We have to, and that's where I got it. We have to evolve. We have to move. And part of me was I had talked to some of the owners, and they were, because we had a hockey league as well. We had the TPCFL, which is our football league, and we had the TPCHL, which was our hockey league. And I talked to a couple people who were playing in the hockey league, and they were like, "Langelo, I love what you're doing. I love the community. You guys are awesome, but I'm getting my ass handed to me in hockey. Sorry, I'm getting my butt handed to me in hockey.
It's an adult show. You're okay.
Okay, I just want to be sure. It's just not fun for me. I appreciate what you're doing. I love what you're doing, but I won't be back because, we're playing one game a week. It's a 16-week season. That's 4 months. And I'm mathematically eliminated from the playoffs within the first month. And then I'm basically cannon fodder for people for the next 3 months. And I'm not even going to the playoffs. And I took that to heart because the whole idea of this organization, the whole idea of the group was for everybody to come together and have fun. Like I've told people from day one, only one person can win per season. So no matter whether you come in second or you come in last, you're still part of the community and we're all growing as a community. So if you're the kind of person, I don't mean you, I mean, I'm just talking generically. If you're the kind of person who, I'm not going to play if I can't win, then this is not the place for you.
Say it louder for the people in the background.
That's been my vision the whole time. And for the most part,
it's one of our core values.
Yeah. And I think that more people and more communities should have that, because if you get people they either come in and they destroy everybody and they relish that because they know that they're good and, they that's their thing. That's great for them. Put a trophy on their wall, but they're not really helping the community, right? Whether it be morale overall or just flat out, when your season starts, I know football is only 16 games, but 17 games. But if you know from the beginning that, whoever owns the Cowboys, unless something goes horribly wrong, they've got the championship won before week one of preseason. That doesn't really help with morale. On the other side of that, if you've got someone who, I'll pick a team, Jacksonville, and they realize 2 weeks in that this is a hopeless cause, that doesn't help things either. So I've always tried to encourage people to stay and to ride it out. And, it may not be your season this season, but I guarantee you, if you stick with it, a couple seasons from now, you'll make the playoffs, which that's a milestone to aim for. And then once you can break that barrier, you can get into the playoffs. Any given Sunday can happen. And, we're all growing, we're all learning. That's how it's going. So the problem that I had with hockey was I had like 3 or 4 different people who all kind of said, like, love what you're doing, but this isn't for me because I'm getting just hammered. So we closed down the TPCHL. We were like, okay, we've had 2 seasons. Let's not say goodbye, just say see you later. And we kind of, put it on hold. And I was talking to my wife, who I have to give a shout out for, because I kind of get all this credit for creating this community and I appreciate it, but she's just as involved as I am. I'm more the face of it. But she's my sounding board, and she's the one that runs things in the background. So I couldn't do this without her.
There's nothing better than having a wife that supports this. My wife doesn't game, but she totally supports what I do. And shout out to your wife, who I've met through like Twitter and whatnot, and follow what you guys do. But we need more women gamers. Like the Grown Folks only has 1 woman in it, at least that I know of. And it's like,
right,
what do we have to do to get more women gamers? Like we need women gamers. Like that is like, I personally think one of those, don't whack your mic, Nate. Like one of the untapped opportunities for gaming is like a community. Like once you get a couple women that can kind of help you build that women kind of cohort, building a gaming community where women feel safe and like an opportunity to plug in and participate and lead and like all that fun stuff. Anyway, I'm going on a rant about ladies, but like I totally dig what your wife does with you.
Yeah, no, and she's fantastic. In fact, she competed in TPCFL, and she was in the championship final this year.
Yep, so, she's telling us in chat. She's letting everybody know right now.
Yeah, for her, right? So, but that was something that we were very proud of. We had 2 football leagues. We had the Extreme League, which was an arcade league, and we have the TPCFL, which is our competitive league. and we had a woman competitor in both championship finals this year.
That's
So we were really proud of that. But getting with Evolve, I was talking to Susan, and I'm like, Susan, I got to fix this. I don't want to see anybody leave, whether it be the league, the community, whatever. And if people are leaving, it means I'm doing something wrong. Like something is wrong. And she was like, no,
maybe.
Brian, but she was like, no, it's, you're too hard on yourself. This will work out. This is just a rocky point. We'll get through this. And I said, yeah, okay. And then I thought of the idea, and this is where Evolve Sports came from. We decided that we're going to scrap most of our leagues. Just flat out, we're not going to do hockey anymore. We're going to continue to do football because we've got 9 seasons invested. So we're going to keep going with that in the extreme leagues in the second one. But I said, I want to help the people, or I want to create a community for the people that don't want to play through 4-month seasons. I need to fix this. And what I came up with the idea was ladders and divisions. So what happens is we have, let's say we have 10 people that all play Madden in this ladder division. You win, you move up the ladder. You lose, you drop down the ladder. If you've got somebody who loses 3 or 4 games and they're like, you know what, this isn't for me, I'm out. It's fine because they're not locked in for 4 months. And they're also not replaced by a computer. They just kind of drop down in the standings. Yeah. And as people move up, they move down. And I pitched the idea, a soft pitch of the idea. And people were like, that I would do. That I would play. And I was like, all right. So we launched a Madden division and a hockey division. And then I don't know how much of you or your community play the NHL series, but they also have other games within it called NHL 3s, which is more like an arcade over the top 3-on-3. So I launched a division for that, and people just immediately went to that. And what happens is I had this idea, but I was like, how do I get this out there? How do I get it so that people will tune in and watch? Because we were doing broadcasts for the TPCFL. One of our community members, Meter, came up with the idea of broadcast back in like season 2 or season 3 of TPCFL and built this broadcast team, and it's phenomenal. And hats off to him for that one, because I mean, I do professional wrestling commentary, but I had never done commentary over video games. And I kind of he took the ball and ran with it and built this up, and it's amazing. And I'm super proud of him, and I can't say enough about him. But I was like, we got to do something. We got to do something so people can watch this, because if we're just streaming random games, I mean, it's not gonna. I want it to be an event. I want people to tune in and see this. And I just what we did is we created a, lack of a better term, a television show, but it's not on TV, it's on Twitch, but it's a complete broadcast. It's called Clash, and Clash is treated like a sporting event. You've got your kickoff game, which is, it could be in hockey, it could be in football, whatever it is, and then you've got your showcase game. And we have championships. We've only crowned one champion so far. It's Meter. He's our hockey division champion. We're on tap to crown a Madden champion here very soon. But every second Monday on Twitch at the exact same time, because we wanted it to be where it's a set schedule, when the game is or when the show is, and we do commentary, and it's called Clash. And yeah, we have two events on the card, and people can tune in and they can watch it. And you win, you go up; you lose, you go down. But it's not about wins and it's about wins and losses as far as having that ladder system go, but it's more about, you can dip your toe in, and if you like it, you can stay and you can work your way up, or hopefully work your way up. And if you don't, it's okay. You're not tied into like a 4-month season where you feel like you're dragging an anchor through quicksand, to go nowhere. So it's really kind of taken off, and we've had 12 events now, 12 episodes of Clash, and people seem to be digging it. And I think that, I thank Susan for listening to all these suggestions and all these ideas. And she's a couple of times she's like, no, that's not going to go. You can't do that. Yeah, exactly. But she does it in a, in a supportive way. She doesn't want to see me go out there and have things kind of go sideways. But yeah, no, Clash is where we're at, and what we're looking to do. And this is why I'm super excited to talk with you guys, is because, again, we're Xbox, right? Like we have an Xbox hockey division and an Xbox Threes division and an Xbox Madden division, and we would absolutely love to open it up to the PlayStation side and have a Madden division for PlayStation and a Madden division a hockey division possibly for PlayStation and things like that, and build it up, because gaming isn't just Xbox or PlayStation. It's the community you build with it. And I think that's where, I said earlier about you and I having the rubber finally hit the road. I'm offering the invite. I would love to see a PlayStation side competed on Clash. I think that having head-to-head matchups, fresh matchups, live matchups that aren't necessarily, they aren't in the rankings for the is it OMFL? OMFL, yep. Right? Yeah. It's completely outside of that, but I know how football goes, where you only get matchups every 4 seasons in some cases for football. So if let's say it's you and give me a random owner from OMFL.
Oh my goodness. Winnivus.
Okay. So you and Winnivus, the Saints and
Colts,
the Colts, only would play once every 4 seasons, right? Which I know for you guys is like, 6 months, but for us that would be a long time. Years, right? Yeah. So with the idea with Clash is you get that fresh matchup, and you don't have to wait that long for it to happen. The other thing that we did was, and this is something I forgot to mention earlier, and I apologize. You get people who are like, man, by the time I got into the draft, I ended up with the Florida Panthers, or in football, saying I ended up with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not my favorite team, not who I necessarily want to play with, but it was all I had available by the time I got there, et cetera, et cetera. And that leaves a bad taste in people's mouths sometimes too.
Yeah.
Clash, you can pick whatever team you want, right? Because it's a head-to-head game and you're not locked in for an entire season. So the idea would be is that, you find out you and I are playing next week on Clash. And I'm like, okay, Nate is really, really good on offense. So I'm going to need a team that's really good on defense if I'm going to have any chance at all. I could take the Bills. I love the Bills, but I don't know how they're going to line up against the Saints. So you know what? I'm going with the Packers. I'm just making up teams. And that's the matchup. You tell me that, you're taking the Saints, I'm taking the Packers. We make the match for Clash, and away we go. And then 2 weeks from now, you face, Colby, or you face someone from our community, and pick a completely different team, because you don't necessarily want to take the Saints in against the Rams, let's say. So you're like, you know what? Yeah. I'm going to take the Lions. Not that you would ever take the Lions, because let's say the Lions are horrible, but you get the idea. So totally. It creates fresh matchups, and you're not locked into that team. You can take whatever team you want, and people really seem to enjoy that. In our football side of it, people have their favorites, and they normally go with that team, which is fine because it's playbooks and this and that. I get that. But in hockey, it's changing all the time. When one person announces they're taking a high offense team, you see the other side say, I'm taking a high defense team, just to try to balance that out. So it's constantly different matchups, and it's working so far. We've got 12 episodes in, and everyone seems to be super happy with it. So I'm excited to see where the future goes, but I would love to add the PlayStation competitors to it. So if
Chat
anyone's
friends,
interested.
if you get any questions for our guy Brian, just put them in the chat. I'll try to read them off. Brian, is there seasons? Like, is there a start point and ending point? Is there a way to find a championship? Is it just kind of the person with the most points at the top of the ladder after a time period? Like, how do your seasons go?
Well, we don't actually have a season. Think of it almost like the UFC, where there's weight divisions. And you've got a champion who defends that title, and as long as they're champion, the contenders face off to see who's gonna face that champion. And yeah, we're just going. We haven't had an off season yet, but yeah. So what happens is we made one soft rule, and the soft rule was you can't play someone within more than 3 ranking levels ahead of you, because you come in and you're really good at Madden, and you're facing someone who is like 1-5, and let's say you're 6-1. Like, that's not really going to be a competitive matchup. So the idea is that we try to keep it within 3 rankings of each other. That way there's a bit of a challenge, but it's not completely overwhelming. And then as people move up in the ladder, they earn a championship opportunity, and then we book it for Clash, and we've got the whole setup for that. And what we've done, we kind of grabbed it from the UFC a bit, but we have an intro to the show. And what happens is, let's say it's you and I playing. I give us both 2 or 3 questions. Like, do you think your offense or your defense is going to be your stronger feature tonight? What's one thing you have to look out for with your opponent? Or, just questions like that.
I love that idea.
And then what happens?
By the way, I'm stealing that for our bowl game.
Sure. And then I cut that into a promo where I've got music playing in the, like under it, and it's back and forth, and it builds up, and it does 2 things. It tells the people watching the show why this game is important, and why it's important in their own words. And it also introduces and humanizes our competitors, because so many times you see someone streaming online and it's like, yeah, I don't know anything about this guy. I'm just tuning in because he's playing a game that I want to watch, et cetera, et cetera. And my idea with Evolve Sports was I wanted to create a community where people could, as you mentioned earlier, with the whole idea of having women involved, a safe environment for everyone to play in. But I also wanted to create the ability for people to be showcased, because you can get lost really fast on Twitch. Like, you might have your 50 followers and you might get affiliate status, but what makes you stand out? And the whole idea of Clash is, whenever anyone's competing, I always make sure to include their streaming, whether it's Trovo or Twitch, whatever it is, their gamer tag, the country they're from. So I'm not, doxing anybody by saying, 182 Maple Street. But their country, their gamer tag, where they're streaming from. And the idea is I want other people to gain followers from this. I want this to be a vessel so that people can be promoted. So we do the promos, we do the intros, and it's all about trying to build that community, because I love our community. I think first off, I should also say, I think your community and our community are very, very similar, like super similar. And I love that. But I want to help our community grow.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to be a streamer, great. Harness the power of our community so that you can reach that 50 followers, and then people will tune in and watch from within the community. And who knows, one person tells another person, and boom, they could take off as a streamer. And that's it. I want Clash to be a safe environment for people to play in, but I also want it to be this I don't want to say launching pad, but I want to make sure that when people tune in to watch Clash, that they know that, Nate's available at, this Twitch channel, and make sure you give him a follow and everything else. So just because you're not on Clash, or just because you're on Clash on Monday night, the other 6 days of the week, go check out his Twitch channel and watch what's going on.
I totally dig it. One more question, and then I want to just kind of talk about next steps. Just kind of tell me a little bit more about you've kind of dabbled here and there and talked about the like vision of the community. But what are some of kind of the values, some of the kind of guiding principles for what Evolve is trying to do?
Again, we want to create like a safe, fun environment. I go back to playing competitive hockey back in like 2001, 2002, and there was absolutely nothing more infuriating than loving a game and wanting to play that game, going on to play lobby kids and get absolutely destroyed because everyone knows every money play going.
Yeah.
And there's the toxic environment of gaming, which everybody knows about. It exists. I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't, but I try my best to have it not happen where we are. And the core bit of our organization is come in, have fun, and even if you don't play Madden or you don't play hockey, a lot of us all play Call of Duty, or we play Apex, or we play, Farming Simulator, we play other games. So you may not be competing on Clash, but we've got a whole community that if you want to log on and play something on any other Monday night, or any other night other than Monday, we've got that. And it to me, it's always been, I'm done competitive gaming. Like I don't compete anymore. I don't play on Clash. You'll never see me compete on Clash. I'm past that now. And I don't mean to sound like I'm uppity on that. What I mean is that my time is done. I did competitive hockey. I did that sort of thing. Before that, when I was a kid, I played competitive Contra. Remember Contra for the NES?
Yeah,
that was something I did. I want to be the guy that creates the environment for lack of a better description, the next generation. Like I want to be there. And Susan and I talked about that, and she was like, even like this season, she's like, I don't think management should be playing in a competitive league because if they win, it may not look good. I'm like, I get what you're saying. I do, but our community knows that we're not that sort of thing. Like we don't create a league just so that we can win, sort of idea. So
the OMFL never has to worry about that.
Neither does the TPCFL. So everything is good there, because I the closest I've made it is the 1 yard line of the AFC Championship game, and then so yeah, that's as close as I ever got. But I want to be able to create an environment where people can come in and they can have fun and they can feel safe. And I know I keep using the word safe as if the gaming world is dangerous, but what I mean is not a hostile environment.
It can be very toxic.
Yeah. I mean, we have our competitive trash talking, and we have our, I'm going to kick your ass, the ha ha sort of thing, but it's not coming in and making like, we've got a rule where, no racism, no sexism, no making fun of people with special needs, these sort of things. Like, these are our core. If you do this, you're gone. And the reason I say that is because that happens a lot in gaming, right? Yeah. So we have no time for that at all. We just want to create a place where people can come and have fun, and have a bit of structure to it. I think people really enjoy Clash. Clash looks like a broadcast. We're on YouTube. We don't have that 100 subscribers yet, so we don't have the actual channel.
We're going to get you there tonight. I got faith.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, all of our broadcasts are now on YouTube. We broadcast live on Twitch and then put it on YouTube so that we don't lose them, sort of idea. And I just hope that people are happy and they feel like they can come and be a part of it. And again, like if someone comes in, and we've got one guy right now, he's a former TPCFL champion, he's a former TPCHL champion. His name is Shane's Gaming, and Shane is from Scotland. The dude's amazing. I love Shane. Not having the greatest success right now in Madden, but doesn't stop him from competing. He's always up for the game. And as long as he wants to play, he could be 0-15. And if he wants to play, he's always got a spot with us. We're not going to turn around and say, it's not really working out. We're going to cut you. Never do that. If they make that decision and they want to step away, I understand, but I'm never going to be the one based on a win-loss record. I'm never going to be the person to say, maybe this isn't for you.
No, I dig it. I dig everything about what Evolve stands for. And I think there's a ton of like connections. I think we're doing things very much with the same kind of mindset and same kind of outcome, and just doing it in two different ways. And I know that you and I have got a lot to kind of figure out about what does this actually look like? What do we actually, how do we actually do this, and how do we make it? And I think that's where a lot of my partnerships have tried to build over, the OMFL's going on its 21st year in January, which is stupid crazy to think about sometimes. And the Grown Folks community I think we're going on year 5 or something like that. And Grown Folks was born from the OMFL, right? Because of all the same stuff that you said, right? We started as a Madden League for a long time, and then people were like, we play these other things. Can we create a community around these other things? And then it just kind of naturally born, and it grew really from connecting with people like yourself, Pootie T, and a couple other commissioners like that ran very similar Madden leagues. I was like, let's all put us like together. Let's grow a name brand together, where adults can find a safe space to game without playing with randoms or playing with toxic kids who are stuck in mom's basement and cussing you out. Like adults like to game, and it's okay, and it's cool, and it's art. Like, I don't hunt or fish or go out and hang out with the boys. This is what I do to reset. This is how I relax. And so there are a lot of people that do that. And so let's put us all in the same kind of community and create that. Anyway, I went on a bit of a rant to say,
no,
where the rubber meets the road and where the partnerships tend to like find the tension point is everybody's trying to build their own community, right? And it's always been hard for me to go, well, I've got 5 years into the Grown Folks. Like, I can't just kill it and go join this other thing. And then you kind of, it brings in a tension point. But you and I have kind of connected over the last couple of weeks to really start to figure out, okay, how do we make this connection? And so I know that we'll introduce kind of some more details around that after you and I get more and more time, especially with the holidays here. I have more time off from work. We can really connect about how do we get the PlayStation side to start jumping into these ladders. I already see people here in the chat say like, hey, that like sounds like something I'd be interested in. And I think it's got a lot of super cool ideas. But just tell people really quick, where can we go find you? Team, I'm challenging you, whether you watch this here live tonight or you go watch this later on, we got to get our guys over 100. And when I say guys, that's non-gender, just like people.
Yeah, I know.
Get our friends over 100. Okay. So go subscribe right now, but tell them where to go subscribe. Tell them where they can follow you on all of the platforms that you're on. And then we'll wrap things up with a couple closing ideas.
Yeah, sure, for sure. Our Twitter account is The Evolve Sports. Only because of the fact that we Evolve Sports Live is too long for a Twitter handle, so we went with The Evolve Sports. On Twitch, we're Evolve Sports Live. Our website, which is horribly in need of an update, so it's only there to kind of give people the impression of what we do. It doesn't necessarily have links to our broadcasts. Is evolvesports.live. We try to stick to the Evolve Sports Live as much as possible. We just couldn't do it with Twitter. And then on YouTube, if you search up Evolve Sports Live, all of our previous episodes of Clash are on there as well.
Your wife is Susan, right?
Yes, my wife is Susan. Yep.
Susan, I see you in the chat. I have it set for no links just to protect ourselves because there's trolls in this world who will come into our chat and post stuff that no one wants to see. So that's why
Right.
your link is only showing up for you, Susan, and no one else. But if you'll just type it out, no HTTP, no .com, just type it out. It should pop up and everybody will get to see it, Susan. So guys, go help our friends. Okay. These are really, really cool people. I really dig them. We kind of only surface know each other, but I hope that we can continue to grow our friendship and relationship. Cause I just think that what they're doing totally fits our vibe. It totally is what I'm trying to do here at Grown Folks. And to be honest, it's like, I've been trying to do what Brian's trying to do. And that's like find other people who want to do what I'm doing and promote them because I don't want to be doing all this stuff by myself. So I'm super interested in what you're doing. We're going to figure out how the Grown Folks online community can support that, how we can help on the PlayStation side, maybe create some spaces for people to go be involved. Like I'm even thinking like FIFA's a game out there. I know that we have a big Battlefield, PUBG, Call of Duty group, and we've already done some like ladder systems, which Pootie T, when you watch this, we got to figure that out too. But there's like a lot of opportunity. So how do we start small? How do we create a space where we can help on the PlayStation side and help you guys grow something really cool, something really awesome? And I appreciate you taking time to come be here with me. We were going to do this draft night, but again, to speak to the kind of human that Brian and Susan are, he's like, man, I already promised my boys going to watch this pay-per-view. I was like, bro, 100% go watch the pay-per-view and then we'll do this another time. So I dig these people. I think you will dig these people. So go give them a follow, go give them some support, go watch some of their broadcasts. I know we try to dip our toes into broadcasts as often as we can and try to do stuff. I think my streaming will kind of elevate once I get a studio. Right now I'm just in my front room. So it's like tear down, set up, tear down, set up. It just wears me out. But I think we're going to find a way to grow this partnership and unveil and roll out some things to the PlayStation side so that you guys can come and be involved with Evolve Sports and be involved in their ladder system. So, Brian, give some closing thoughts before we get you out of here. And then I'm going to jump into some predictions for season 98.
Wow. Based on our run, season 98 will be in 2032. So we're looking forward to that. Yeah, we'll get there. First off, I want to say thank you for not only having me on tonight, but all the kind things you said as well. I greatly appreciate it. And I want to do the exact same thing. I want to introduce your community to our community so that maybe we can do some cross bit. I know you guys are on Discord. We're currently on Gilded. Spoiler alert for those who don't know, and the only three people that do know are Nate, my wife, and I. We are moving back to Discord. The Gilded experience did not turn out the way that we had anticipated, so stay tuned for that over the next few weeks. And then we can do some cross promotion there. I also want to make the offer that our broadcast team is more than willing and more. We'd love to if you need some extra voices or you need some production stuff. I'm super proud of our broadcasting. Like I said, Meter's the one that put it together.
Who we know here, at least I know.
Yes.
He's done. I think he's done some podcasts with us way back when.
Yep. And him and I called an OMFL game once. It was the Giants and the Patriots.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yep. And we'd love to do it again. Not saying that yours is not, because I loved. I watched the 97.
You're not hurting any
game.
Feelings at all. I am an amateur in all the ways.
What I mean is you did fantastic, and if I remember correctly, you were actually feeling under the weather during that game, and no one would know. I mean, you did absolutely phenomenal. What I'm saying is, if you want to take a break and you need someone else to get in there, we'd love to call a few games.
We're going to take you up on that. We're going to figure that out.
Perfect. But yeah, I think that this is really, you and I are very similar with our views and what we want to do, and I think by extension, our communities are very similar. And just because we're on Xbox and you're on PlayStation or vice versa, and I mean, there's some crossover there. I mean, some people in our
I
community
mean,
have a
it's
PlayStation, and I'm sure
2021,
some of yours,
right? Like
yeah,
crossplay is a thing now.
it's
It's going
thing,
to
yeah,
be a thing in Madden soon, and like
yeah,
we actually can start to connect some of these communities.
yeah. And that's the thing, right? I mean, I think that, and I don't want to take away. I want to make this one perfectly clear to you and the community, both communities. I'm not trying to take away from the grown folks' identity.
Okay,
And
stop.
I
You don't
also
have to say that. You don't have to say
no,
that. I
but you know what I mean.
appreciate you, but my kind of golden rule is if
Mm-hmm,
people think the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, I let them
mm-hmm.
go cut it. And usually they figure out 99% of the time that grass grows just like my grass grows and they come on back. But so look, if I even remotely worried about some type of like thing like that, you wouldn't be
Yeah.
here. That's not your vibe. That's not who you are. So you just keep
But
being you and doing some really cool stuff, man.
but I'm an evil promoter and I'm
You
trying to
are an
set
evil
up an
promoter. I got
invasion.
to
Do you
see
not
this.
see this,
I just
Nate?
I'm
This is an
struggling.
invasion.
I'm struggling with this idea. I really am because you're just like you and D Wayne, who's a guy like my right hand guy who's here tonight in the chat. Like
Mm-hmm.
these are just some of
Yeah.
the like Roger. I see you in here. These are like some of the nicest humans. So I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around that. We've also, Brian does this, for a living. As he's super into professional wrestling, AEW. I'm a massive, massive AEW fan. And so he and I kind of geek out about some of that stuff sometimes. And I even invited him into our wrestling Discord because our league took a break because, well, what was it, 20, WWE 21, 20, yeah, I think was the last game. It was like totally broke and trash. And so we were like, we're going to wait. And the new game doesn't drop till March. So he's kind of helping us like think creatively about a way that we could think of a league. When I'm going to introduce you to my buddy Brian, because Brian did some amazing, cool stuff with Daddy League stats and pulling it in spreadsheets. Winivus is our spreadsheet guru. He makes spreadsheets for fun sometimes, like just to go to sleep at night. It's weird. I don't get it, but he loves it. He's also my family member, so I can say that. But
Nice.
Winivus has got some really cool ideas, but you have the expertise to actually pull stuff off of Daddy Leagues from Madden. And so we may tap into that and get you to kind of help guide us in the right direction. Brian, thank you so much for being here. Susan, I don't know where you're at in this house, but hello, Susan. Next time, Susan, come be on camera. And
Susan,
let's
come here
figure
for a
out another
second.
time to get you to come back, come be back on Press Pass Live. I think maybe once we figure out exactly what this looks like, we'll get Susan and you to come be on camera and we'll kind of reveal to everybody how we can do this and what we're going to do. I'm super excited about the possibilities because I'm also like, and people who watch my streams will know this, like, I don't like doing what everyone else is doing and just trying to do it better because you just end up coming off like a really bad copy of everybody else. And so like, I'm always trying to do things different. Like, how do we do something really creative and out of the box? And I think what you're doing at Evolve Sports is totally creative, completely out of the box. And there's some really cool things there. So thank you again. Thanks, Susan, for me. Thank you, team from Evolve and TPC. I see you all in the chat talking with our friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we'll get you to come back soon.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you so much, Nate.
All right, you're the best, man. Thank you so much. Well, there you have it, my friends. Our buddy Brian from Evolve Sports. I have been like itching really, really bad to have him on and have him come and join us because I just think that they're doing some super cool stuff and they're cool people. And like, that's what I love about this community. There's like some really toxic things that I don't love and that nobody loves. And this whole idea of like, I've got the best Madden league or I've got the best community or I've got the best server. And I don't do any of that stuff. It all kind of drives me insane. Instead, I just like to meet really awesome people and surround myself with as many awesome people as I possibly can. All right, let's talk some OMFL. I'm flying solo tonight. I guess none of our friends could come join us, and so I think I'm flying solo, and that's okay. We're gonna fly solo, and it's gonna work out just fine. So we're gonna talk some predictions here. Let's see if this works. That works. That's what we're gonna want to do. We're going to talk some predictions for season 98 because that's what everybody's asked for. And after we do that, we're going to open up the mailbag and we'll run through some mailbag questions. So a little bit of a longer show tonight. I'm going to run through these. I'm not going to spend a ton of time of each of these, but I'm sure we'll have one of us or Roger, somebody back with us soon, and we'll be able to do a prediction show and get some of their predictions. So, and hint, hint, it's an easy way to make content. Go make content, put out your predictions, and let us know. I'm trying to take it down a notch here because I know my wife is going to wake up and come and smash me with a pan for being so loud. The AFC North, it was owned by the Ravens last year. The Steelers were right there pushing them. The Bengals, a little bit of a hit and miss, and the Browns completely tanked. The Browns hit the reset button, and man, you can see it already peeling off for them. 3-0, Ravens at 3-0, but the surprise out of this division has been the Bengals at 1-2 and the Steelers at 1-2. Sadly, the Steelers had a CPU game this week, and CPU was not nice to my guy Jason. I'm going to say this again for everybody in the OMFL, just to make sure that it's super duper clear. FPR does not matter when you play the CPU. You do what you got to do to get the win. I could care less. I really don't. I don't care if anybody watch. If you have to give up a CPU game, then you know that you're giving up a game where the guy can do anything it takes to win, because the CPU will blitz you a zillion times. They'll play everything out of the shotgun. They'll just do all the cheesy, crappy things, which is also kind of my argument why shotgun runs are not a thing here, and a percentage is put on them, because if you watch the CPU, they run everything out of the shotgun. There's a reason for that. Anyway, from now on, if you play the CPU, go do you. Go beat the CPU. Do whatever it takes. Just get the win, because that's what we want you guys to do. I think the Ravens are going to win this division, but this is one of my favorite divisions to watch in all of the OMFL. The Ravens, we know with Nipples and his job, he can kind of hit and miss. We see him surge. We see him come back to the group. The Browns, Massimo has a lot to show to us. He started off hot, 3-0. He's putting up good points. He's playing good defense, but he's got a lot of rookies. He's starting a lot of young players, and that can turn on you very, very quickly. But it's good to see him playing good ball right now. Steelers stumbled out of the block with the CPU game. They're going to be right in the hunt. He's rebuilding that team. He's got a lot of work to do in the quarterback. I don't think that's a finished product at all, but I think he's going to get there. And then Denver, we already know that Denver is one of the more studied players that we have in the OMFL. He's going to figure out a way to continue to win. Give me the Ravens to win this division. It would not surprise me if 2 wild cards come out of this division, though. It will be a fun one. AFC North, we all know that Brady owned this division last Madden, made it all the way to the season 98 championship, lost by a field goal. He has done some amazing stuff with these Jaguars, and he's got this team rolling once again. He's playing. I don't have a great word because it's late at night. My brain isn't working, but he's trying to play this role of being the player who everyone's out to get, and so he's using that as a bit of a motivation. I got to be honest. Even if he watches this, I hope he stays here forever. I have my doubts. A lot of times the Brady finishes this Madden cycle out. Prove me wrong, Brady. I hope that you do, but things ended really badly personally between he and I. You see there is no more OMFL news. I'm doing all the things I hate, so I'm going to throw it away because I don't want to air out our dirty laundry. I'm just saying I hope the Brady and the Jaguars stay here because he has this team rolling, and there is a new power in the AFC. They're named the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Colts, the Titans, the Texans. Roger, I watched you, right? You've had these leads late in the last 2 games, and you've given them up to backup quarterbacks. I personally think it's a mindset thing. I don't know what's clicking. I don't know what's happening there. But I think your team is right on the cusp of really competing here. And I think that you suffer a little bit from the syndrome that suffers in this division from other owners where it's like, oh, I'm not good. I'm never going to win. I I think that mindset, those words carry power. I do it. I am the world's worst about it. And so I'm speaking to me. Your mindset, the words that you use matter, and they matter even in Madden. We know they matter in life, but they matter in Madden. And I think your team is right there. I think you need one more good offseason before this team's right there. The Titans and the Colts are the two wild cards here. I don't know if they can compete with the other division that we just covered, the AFC North, was it? Yeah, the AFC North, but I think they're very good teams. I think when Winovus is playing almost like that, like carefree, that's almost what it feels like. Those games that I've seen Winovus put in his backup quarterback, it's like it doesn't matter anymore. I can just call plays, I can just play. And he comes back and he wins. It's almost like how do you encapsulate that to start the game off? That kind of like, oh God, I'm gonna say it. That Maniac, I don't care about winning, even though I know Maniac cares all about winning. But that mindset of like, take the pressure off of you, just go play football. Just go stick to your game plan, play the type of football that you want to play, and don't let the other team rattle you out of that. Colts and Titans are going to be one of those teams. I do think that the Colts are going to come in second here. They're going to come in right above the Titans, but whether any of those teams get a wild card, I'm going to say no right now, but I think they have a possibility to be in the hunt. AFC East, the Patriots, the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Bills. One of these divisions that I can't quite put my finger on. We've seen the Patriots last season start out really, really hot. They played really great football. I want to say it's my guy, Lost Sniper, right? I'm a big fan of Lost. He gets me. I feel like I get him. Like we just get each other, and I'm one of his biggest fans, whether he knows that or not. I'm one of his biggest fans here. But that team would like surge, and he would win 4 or 5, and then he'd lose 2 or 3, and then he'd win 2, and then he'd drop 1, and it's just kind of a surging team. The Dolphins, this is the problem with being a Cajun, talking with your hands. You hit the mic all the time. That new mic stand, can't wait for it to get here. I won't hit it as much, I hope. I seen the Dolphins manhandle me, right? He gets that little dink and dunk game, and he just kind of picks you, and then when he gets you to come up, he's hitting you over the top. He's got great run game. He's got a really great defense. But again, we've seen real life take him back from Madden. Well, that's not going to, I don't think it's going to be here. He's going to be more plugged in. We know that the Dolphins he's put up 109 points already. It's going to put him in the top half of this league. I think the top 5. The battle between these two teams is going to be a ton of fun. I'm going to take the Dolphins to win this division, but I do think the Patriots will either get a wild card or be fighting for a wild card. Jets and Bills, I really don't know what to take from either of those teams. I know that Tim has asked for some help. Putting up 16 points is not normal Tim offense. I want to say, stats-wise, I haven't watched any of his games. Stats-wise, it seems that he is focusing too much on the speedy receiver. If he would just play ball, he's got the quarterback to build around. He needs to get that defense. He's only given up 65 points, so he's playing good defense. He's got to figure out a way to be more effective on offense. And then I do think that Outlaw builds a really great defense. He just has to focus a little bit more. And sorry, I'm still battling some sickness, even though I'm way, 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 way better. And so anyway, I think Outlaw is still got a learning curve before he begins to really compete. And I think for him, it's going to be the same as the Jets, finding some offense to go with a really good defense. AFC West, Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, and Raiders. Another tough division to figure out. We've seen the Chargers surge a little bit here and there, but when you score 94 and you give up 92, that's going to be tough. I watched him in week 1 completely get the doors blown off of him, and then comes right back and he plays some really solid games. He's won the next 2 in a row to put himself in contention early. I like the Broncos. We know that when Jay Glaze is plugged in, he was all the way to OMFL Bowl. I think it was 92, 93, something like that. We know the Chiefs have a really great roster, and we've seen the Raiders also compete whenever he's plugged in. if I had to call this one, I think only one winner comes out of this, no extra wild card. And I think that's going to be the Chargers. I just think long term, I've got to go with the guy who's played the most consistent football. And I think that that's going to be the Chargers that are going to be that, even though the Broncos are going to be right there. All right. Now, let's get into the NFC. Guys, let me know in chat. Friends, let me know what you think. Give me some of your predictions as I go through each of these, because I am not the best at this. I'm just giving you my thoughts, and then we're going to open up the mailbag. So tell me in the chat, what do you think is going to happen here? NFC North, we had Smash on the podcast at the draft. He was talking about how he wasn't going to compete. He wasn't going to be the team to be there. I know Trey asked this in the mailbag, and so I'm going to touch on it here. We'll talk on it more whenever we get to the mailbag. You've seen this division flip. You got the Lions and Vikings on the bottom. You got the Bears and Packers at the top. The Packers, guys, are 3-0. He scored 95 points and only given up 57. He's slinging the ball all over the place, and he's having some fun. I just don't know if the longevity is there for either of these teams. Trey and Maniac, they're going to figure some things out. Maniac could go full tank mode. I don't see that happening. I just think that that isn't the type of player that he is. The Lions have had a quarterback situation. It's now settled. You got Stafford back on a much better deal, and just because nobody else picked him up, and so opened him back up. I do think that the Lions win this division. Bears and Packers battle for second place. Both of them are right there in the hunt for a wild card. I don't know that I'm ready to say that either get a wild card. I do think the Vikings get back into it, and this has the potential to be one of the better divisions in all of football. And Maniac, you're crazy. That is never going to happen. NFC South, my division, my Saints are 2-0, but I'm going to get it handed to me if I actually get to play D-Money. I don't know if we're going to get to play tomorrow. It might be a sim. It kind of sucks because I wanted to get it handed to me because I wanted to see kind of, can I compete with the top of the top players here? Can I get a game plan that figures that out? I may not have that opportunity. Panthers at 2-1, Bucks at 1-2, Falcons at 0-3. One of my bigger surprises early here in season 98. I'm still going to say that the Falcons win this division. Panthers will be right there nibbling on their tail. I'm doing one last ride with my import. My import quarterback is going to be a free agent next year unless something stupid crazy happens. He's asking for $250 million over 7 years. Of course, we don't allow those types of contracts. If you give that in a 4-year deal, it eats up my entire cap for the next 9 seasons. So he's probably going to be let walk, even though I may franchise him for the next 2 seasons and hold on to him as long as I can and build somebody else up in his placement. I like the Falcons to come back and win this division. He will figure out the things that are keeping him from winning. I think his schedule is brutal now with work. And so he's going to get that figured out. Now that I'm talking myself out of it right here live on Press Pass Live. Okay, give me the Panthers to win this division only because the Falcons' schedule is not going to lighten up anytime soon because of the holidays. I think the Falcons come into second place, Saints third, Buccaneers last. And I think one of those teams will be in the hunt for a wild card. NFC East, you've got the Cowboys, the Eagles, Washington football team, New York Giants. The New York Giants are having to deal with some real life issues. Pepper, know that we're praying for you, sending love to your family, and here to support you. I think we're not even going to talk about the Giants because we don't know whenever that situation is going to get a leave. Cowboys out to a 2-0 start. Eagles with their rookie quarterback out to a 2-1 start. The Washington football team starting to figure some things out. Of course, I like the Cowboys to win this one, but give me the Eagles to get one of the wild card spots. He has his quarterback of the future, and that was the missing piece to really help that team blossom. NFC West, you got the Seahawks, the Cardinals, the Rams, and the 49ers. Seahawks at 2-0, Cardinals at 2-0, Rams at 1-2, and the 49ers at 0-3. But some of those have been some heartbreaking losses. It's his defense. He's got to get that defense figured out. I don't know a ton about Toke. There's a couple owners here that are still new. Rams, Washington football team, 49ers. I don't know a ton about their style, what kind of teams they like to build. And so it's hard for me to tell you what they're going to look like. I did watch some of those 49ers games, and man, he was right there just on the brink of getting some wins. I think he's a season away from getting that team formed in his own image. I don't know what's with the Rams. Lamigra played me the other day. I stole one from him. I should have a criminal record in the state of Louisiana for that win. It was complete theft. It was bad. I threw 5 picks and still somehow won that game. I think his problem is going to be offense. His team got old quick. And so he's going to have cap issues like me. He's going to have to figure out the quarterback issue. He's got a very good quarterback, but it seems to be missing a couple of weapons. And so I think he's a season from really getting that team created in his image so that he can start to take the strides that he wants to. It's going to come down to the Cards and the Seahawks. Cards, OMFL 8-time champion. His OMFL Bowl trophy is off to him right now. You got to give it to the Cardinals. And Maniac in chat points out a very obvious thing, friends. He scored 71 points. He's allowed 6. He's allowed 6 points in 2 games. I'm not very good at math, but I'm pretty sure that's not a touchdown. Technically is a touchdown without the extra point, but I'm pretty sure he has not given up a touchdown in 2 games. That's mind-blowing. Seahawks are going to be a playoff team, just like they were last year. They're just going to have to do it from a wild card spot. And then that just kind of brings us to who is the king of kings. And I think the 2 teams, and I think this is one of the mailbag questions, the 2 teams that we've seen are going to be one of the 2 teams that we're going to see again. And that's going to be the Jaguars, and that's going to be the Arizona Cardinals. I just think those teams are stacked. They're very good. They've got some things figured out. And it's going to take some other teams stepping up to the plate for us to be able to knock one of those guys down, because right now they've really shown that they are the top dogs here. And I think if there is a Madden, if there is a league, if there are settings, the top dogs can fall. This is the league. I don't feel like there's anyone that's unbeatable. 2 Maddens ago, I felt like D-Money was as unbeatable as he could be. He allowed us to win other championships. That's probably not fair to the guys who won other championships, but that's how it felt from a guy that was playing him twice a season, every season as the Falcons. It just felt like he just did whatever he wanted to do. And there are definitely times where you see teams do that here, but I feel like the top teams can lose here and will lose here if you have the right game plan. And it takes you playing perfectly, takes you not making many, if any, mistakes. But I do think that guys are very beatable. All right, let's get over here and let's talk some of these other things. Which one's this one? Yeah, let's see if we can. Let's bring this one in. Is this the one that we want? It is. Let's come back. We're going to come like this. Go like that. There we go. All right. Now let's bring this back in. These are our owner submitted questions. I did try to check out some of these. We're going to see if we can't read the rest of these really quickly and see how this goes. And then we'll wrap up the show, which is going super late tonight. But it was an awesome interview with our guy Brian, and it was awesome to have the TPC family, the the Evolve family in there with us. So I appreciate all of them for hanging out with us. Maniac had a couple really good questions that he submitted a couple weeks ago that we never got to. Do you think free agency or the draft will make a bigger impact on the first OMFL season? I think hands down, Maniac, it's going to be the draft. This seemed like a very, very good, solid draft. And I think you're seeing a lot of impact players come out of it. A lot of first round starting quarterbacks because of the cap issues for some teams. You're seeing a lot of rookies getting playing time and making impacts from the get-go. I think you're going to see a lot of linebackers making impacts. I think you're going to see some cornerbacks as the season progresses make impacts. You're already seeing receivers make impacts. Running backs are going to make impacts. It's just the history of the OMFL. But I think in a year more than ever, we're going to see a level of elite quarterbacks come out of this draft that maybe we've never seen before. And I think in season 99, 100, 101, we're going to see Madden-generated quarterbacks be the leaders here in the OMFL statistically. And I think you're going to see a crop of them be inducted with your quarterback into the Hall of Fame. I really think the draft was super impactful this past season. Season 97 was a roller coaster for seasons for a lot of teams. What has been the biggest impact position, and name a player from that position? I'm not good at this just because I don't have enough time to do enough homework. I will say, though, I think I got to lean back on what I said for the first question. Quarterbacks. Quarterbacks seem to be the position that sways a lot of these teams. If you get good quarterback play, your team plays really well. Duh, it's not hard. The NFL is a quarterback-driven league. And so I think the teams who get the best, more efficient quarterback play will be the better teams at the end of the season, which is why, Maniac, I got a buck against your Packers pick to win the NFC North. Priest, I see you in here, Priest. I got nothing but love for you. I said it when you were playing the other night. If you would just play more efficiently, you'd be a top 10, top 8 team in this league season in and season out. That's not your style. You tend to have fun slinging it, and that Brett Favre vibe that runs in your body, right? That makes you elite whenever it clicks. Also makes you not elite whenever you throw 57 picks a season. And that's going to be what I think will come back and haunt you. Trey says, are we seeing a change in guard? This is the question about the NFC North. I just don't think so, Trey. I think that you had a quarterback issue that hurt you early. It surprised me that you didn't draft a quarterback. I think Maniac is just stumbling out of the block. You're going to get things figured out. Maniac's going to get things figured out. And that's just going to make that division a lot of fun, because I don't think the Packers are a fluke. He clearly has very good players. We've seen him make runs before in the past. We know the type of player that Smash is. His always kind of falls on, does he get good enough quarterback play to put up points and compete? And can he play really good defense, swarming defense? And he's gotten really fast on defense. And I think you're going to see that Bears team continue to play really, really well. He's only given up 46 points in the first 3 games of the season. That's really, really good. And so scoring 68, he's going to have to score more, but it's been enough to give him some of these early wins here. He stumbled this week, but I think he's going to be right there. So it's just going to make this to be a really, really fun division. Going over to Priest, he says, what rookies are standing out from the rest of the pack? And will some of these rookies continue to perform? I'm going to run over here to the standings. Let's look. Let's go see if we can find some stats. And I wish it broke it down by rookies, but I think we can pick a few of these out. Of course, passing, Philip McMillan. I mean, he's already got 6 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and 58% completion percentage is something to worry about, but I think he'll get that figured out. Kenny Dickerson, man, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 71% completion percentage. That's really good play. Can he keep that going? I mean, so far you like what you're seeing. I'm just not sure if he can continue to keep that going. Massey here, well, he's not a rookie. Sheehan? Sheehan? I don't know. Michael, we're going to just go with the first name, the rookie from LSU. You love the 6 touchdowns. 61% is starting to get towards at least the area that you want to get, but the 8 interceptions is something that's going to hurt him. And we're not seeing a whole lot more, right? Matter of fact, I'm not seeing any more rookies in here. Rushing is always where we see a couple of rookies. Paul Kellum right here. 56 for 310, 3 touchdowns. We know Miami's always going to run the rock. There was one guy, it's slipping my brain, but there was Walford, right, for the Cardinals. He's always going to put up enough points. He's already got 7 touchdowns. That's just stupid to wrap my head around. Maybe it was the Packers that I was thinking about that grabbed a running back that was really catching my eye. But I think you're going to see a couple of these running backs continue to roll, especially what we're seeing right here from Kellum. We just have a history from Ross of what he can do. Gatewood, 22 receptions, 345 yards, and 1 touchdown. Who else do we have up here? Surprised we're not seeing more rookies. Hayden, you know that Priest is going to sling the rock. I think those 2 receivers plus more. I think you're going to see some more continue to come up here are going to make really big impacts. We don't talk about it because the stats are not sexy. You're going to see some rookie offensive linemen that should at least catch some eyes for the Pro Bowl, because I think you're going to see some impact rookies make plays and really keep their quarterbacks protected and open up some running holes. Let's see if we have any rookies really quick. Leading in tackles. Larry Townsend just goes to show you that the Texans are just a couple plays away. He's got a great defense he's building over there. He just has to figure out a few things on offense, and he's got to figure out how to finish some games. Let's see what else we have here from interceptions. Boom, 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 boom. These numbers look way better than they did in season 1. Not seeing any rookies here. What about sacks? Nope, not seeing any rookies here too, but I think you will. Oh, there we go. We got Townsend, who we've already talked about. Clearly, he's going to be one of the defensive playmakers for the Texans and in the OMFL. Barber, a guy I fell in love with early in the draft process. He already has a sack. He's got 19 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss. And then Levi Hartley, who we talked about before with the Cardinals. I mean, yeah, the rich get richer whenever it comes to that. So I think you had a couple of players that definitely catching some eye. Top 3 quarterbacks, who will last and who will stay on top? I think you mean like who will not last and who will stay on top. Dickerson, 64 for 90, 830, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Your guy, Sheridan Priest, 44 for 72, 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. And then McMillan, 30 for 56, 592, 4 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I like Dickerson. He's playing really good, efficient football early. He's got a great running game, and Massimo has like a really efficient offense whenever he's staying and playing to his style, which is going to be run the ball really well, play action passes, kind of open up the field with some of those playmakers. He's hit the reset button a little bit on the cap issue. I really like what we're seeing from Dickerson. I think the other 2 are going to put up good stats. They're going to be in the running for some awards. It's the interceptions that I think will haunt both of those guys as we get to the end of the season. He likes talking about his players. I don't blame him. He says, well, Raymond Gatewood keep up his top performance and be the number 1 receiver of the league. 22 catches, 345 and a touchdown. I think, Priest, the way you sling the ball around, that guy always has an opportunity to be to the top of the league. And with receivers, we're not going to see a ton of drops. And with as many times as you're willing to take chances, I think he definitely has a chance to finish this season as the top rookie wide receiver. But I think your stats are always going to be slightly bloated from your style of play. Outlaw says, how's the amount of money quarterbacks? So I think the question is, how is teams needing to pay quarterbacks going to affect how teams build their team and how they manage their cap? And I think, Outlaw, it's a great question, and it definitely will affect teams. I think you're going to see some teams making the decision to go with rookie quarterbacks, get through those first two tough seasons. I think you'll see smarter teams bury somebody in the backup role, build them up, and then not pay out those quarterbacks. When you talk about the D Waynes of the league, he doesn't pay a quarterback. D Monies, he doesn't pay quarterbacks. They believe they can play with almost any quarterback in their system, and those teams free up that cap space. And then there's guys like me who like to pay the quarterback. I just don't want to worry about it. I want to pay that guy's money, figure out the other positions, but know that I'm secure in what could be the most important position for my offense. And so I think you're going to see teams try things both ways. And I think at the end of the day, you're going to see both work. But teams are going to come next season and this in season after, which we're 98, 99. I think 99 and 100. Boy, you're going to see some teams and some real cap issues. And I think teams learned some lessons this past offseason, but they're going to have to learn it even harder. Then he asked a question about what's the threshold for throwing power for a quarterback. I would have loved to have gotten Wynn's thoughts there. I don't know that my thoughts actually matter. I think you can play with anybody. Your offense has to change. If you have an 83, 84 throwing power quarterback, you can't be throwing post routes and go fly routes, right? You got to start to play a lot of play action, a lot more dinks and dunks, a lot more crossing routes, right? Drags, that type of thing. And so I think if you can figure out a way to adjust your style to fit FPR, but still the style of quarterback that you can play with a 84, 85 throwing power quarterback. Personally, I don't like to do anything less than 90. It just doesn't feel good, and your style has to really, really change. Sharks fan says, after a few weeks, give me your playoff predictions. I'm going to make my bold prediction. I kind of went through my predictions earlier. I'm calling Jags and Cardinals once again to win this one, with the caveat being that the holidays can throw a wrench in that. It can mean that some teams can't make games and because they're leaving, they're traveling, they're kind of doing their family thing, and that means they just don't play. D-Money's done that before in the past. Nipples has done that before in the past. And so that could throw a wrench in kind of my predictions, and it allows some of us other ones to have a lot of time off from work, which means we're more focused on our team and we play better. And so teams like the Colts and the Browns and those teams go on runs in those times. So I think that one could be kind of up in the air a little bit. Lost bragging on everybody for the gold sheet to pick them in fantasy. Actually, Lost, I want to thank you for all of your hard work on those things, man. I love it. And you're exactly what the OMFL is about, what the grown folks community is about. Gave you an opportunity to step into leadership. You did it, and you did it perfectly. And I appreciate you. Colin, I already went through my division winners, so I'm not going to do those again. I personally think you will see the same two teams in OMFL Bowl. I think some teams can definitely prove me wrong. The question is, will they? And your last one doesn't count as a question. I'm sorry. I could care less about your favorite New York teams. Kobe says, name your 3 biggest surprise teams through week 3. I think that's a good question. Let's see what we got here. Let's come back over here. I'll give you some of my surprises. Your team, number 1, probably my biggest surprise. I never thought that we would see the Atlanta Falcons start out this season 0-3. Knowing your schedule, understanding your life right now, it definitely does make sense, right? But it's still a big surprise. Number 2, the Packers, 3-0. I've seen Priest go on a run. I think he's a very good player. But I think that 3-0 start is a little inflated because if you look at what hampers the Packers from winning here, he's still doing that. He threw 8 picks through 3 games. I just do the math, right? It's not going to end well. If he could ever stop himself from doing that, he could keep winning. I just don't see him stopping from doing that. And then I guess if I had to pick another surprise team, it would be between the Browns and the Broncos. I would go with the Browns just because they hit the reset button. They got a rookie quarterback. He's just playing so good at football right now. 71% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. That's very, very impressive. So I would go Falcons, Packers, and Browns kind of in that order. I think those teams were really, really surprising to me. Which of these three can improve on their season and which may fall down the stretch? Priest, I love you. I do. This is not personal. Just people are asking me these questions. I think the Packers are going to fade away. I hope you prove me wrong. Stop throwing picks. I don't ever see that happening. That's the solid gameplay he's set up to do. You cannot turn the ball over this Madden and win games. You might win a few, but you're not going to win long term. So I think the Packers are going to fall away. I think your Falcons, Kobe, have an opportunity to win and to go and do something. I don't know if your schedule in real life is going to allow that. And I think the Browns are setting themselves up. They just have to keep this pace. And his job with the holidays also can make things a little touch and go, I think. And so can he stay plugged in for all of the holidays? I think the Vikings have an opportunity to turn it around. I think the Colts have an opportunity to turn around. I think the Texans have an opportunity to turn it around. I think you might see my Saints fade away. It's the interception thing. I can't stop throwing picks. Who else is out there that we ran through that I think has an opportunity? I think the 49ers have an opportunity to turn it around. I think the Rams have an opportunity to turn it around. The Raiders always have a chance. I want to see Colin continue to play well. I think a lot of teams have an opportunity. We're really, really early in the season. Who has the most picks? Let's see. Nope, that's not what we want. Let's come back here. I think you do. Come on. Oh, Josh Allen, 15. McMillan, Tannehill, Wilson. We're all talking about teams outside of the Eagles, right? These teams aren't winning a lot of football games right now. They have opportunities, but you just cannot throw a ton of picks this Madden at all. All right, let's get to these last couple of questions we got here. Colin says, Cowboys at Jaguars next week. Can we get a preview and a prediction? It's super late. Let's see. My prediction is the Cowboys. There's a caveat. I think, I don't know the best way to say what I'm trying to say. I think that this idea that I've seen in chat that guys have to completely change. Dak Prescott's 31 of 39. That's so stupid. Ugh. I hate that stat. But anyway, that you have to completely change because you feel like you have a bullseye and people are nitpicking your gameplay, all of which I debunk as like a myth and not real. But for some people, it's real to them. I think the Jaguars are going to play the Cowboys differently. And I feel like he's going to feel like if he wins, he's going to get called to the table for something, even though Dwayne doesn't call anybody to the table about anything. So I'm picking the Cowboys to win by default. I think if both teams played up to their potential and just like played real FPR football and just didn't worry about things, I think the Jaguars would slightly edge out the Cowboys because I think he would force the Cowboys into some interceptions. But right now, early, Dak Prescott is just playing really efficient football. Zach is having a decent season. Zach, I said, Ezekiel is what I meant to say. Ezekiel is playing pretty well, but like not mind-blowing numbers early. We know that CD Lamb is going to beat you over the top, which would be a fun matchup between these two teams because they both like to push you. Lamb and DJ Chark would both like to take those shots. If you look at Trevor Lawrence, he's 47 of 71 for 66%, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's taking way more chances than what Dallas is doing right now. I think it's going to come down to who turns the ball over the least and who gets momentum on their side the fastest. I actually don't know who's home for this one. Let me quickly look. Who's home for this game? Oh, at the Jaguars. So I would tend to lean a little bit more towards the Jaguars to win this one. But I still think that it is what it is. We're just going to keep this train on moving. Kevin with a couple of questions here. Yeah, our last ones here. With the Browns and Patriots 3-0, could we see them both taking their divisions and making the playoffs after a rough season 1? Absolutely. I think the Browns have an easier road to get there than the Patriots do because of the Dolphins. I think that they just have an opportunity. But the Browns, I'm kind of talking myself out of it here now because the Browns are in a division that has a lot of really good players that have an opportunity to play better than what their early record is showing. I think both have an opportunity to do it. I think the jury's still out. Will they do it? With the Packers and Bears both at 3-0, could we see a different team on top of the NFC North, or the Lions and Vikings turn around? Boy, it's a popular question tonight. Caught a lot of people's attention, which I love. I love this idea of parity. I love ideas that new teams, like I was really pulling for like Maniac versus Brady in the OMFL Bowl. I just want new faces. I want new teams because I think this Madden more than any, we can start to see that. I do think, though, to answer your question, is I do think that we're going to see one of those teams win it all, though. That's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to see the Lions or the Vikings come back, and I think the Lions have set themselves up to do it the easiest. But I hope they prove me wrong. I hope the Bears and Packers prove me wrong and make me eat my words. You just never know. There's so many other factors that go into making these predictions. You don't know what's going on in people's real life. You never know when things happen that pull them away. You never know when like work or other things keep people and make them pull away, and they got to go do other things, and you just don't know. And because of that, you're just very unsure of what could happen to any of these teams at any moment, and it could totally change the way that you view things. Guys, it's been a long show. I'm sorry that I was the only one here, but I hope that you loved that interview with Brian. They're good people. Go give them a follow on all of their platforms. Let's help them get over 100 on YouTube. I know that we can help them get there, and hopefully we'll get some new friends. I'm really trying to stream as many nights as I possibly can. We've got a really cool idea coming out soon with Pootie and I. We're going to start Grown Folks Live. So just like Press Pass is for the OMFL, Grown Folks Live will be for the entire community. So I'm going to create a forum so that other commissioners and leagues can submit some news. We can do some interviews. We can have some call-ins. We're going to do a Battlefield giveaway here really soon. And so I'm excited about the possibilities and the opportunities, and I hope that you are too. And I want you to come be a part of kind of what we're doing, and come join us. Come plug in here. Let's get some Christmas music. I think our music changed because it's been playing for so long. Hold on, we're going to get some Christmas music as we close out the show here. Where's my Christmas music? I know you're in here. Hope you dig the new fun stuff that I'm doing with the stream. It's the holidays. I love the holidays. As you can see, my house is already decorated for the holidays. I'm totally head first in it. I love everything about the holidays. Here we go. Here's some lo-fi Christmas. That was pretty intense just now. We were like some video game old type music. So guys, thanks again for hanging out with me. Do me a favor, hit the like button. It helps us with algorithms, and I just think we're doing some fun stuff, some cool stuff. We're trying some things, and we want to promote it. And if you're new and you're checking out the Grown Folks Online community for the first time, we're a community of adult gamers. If you're sick of playing with randos, you're sick of playing with people with no mics, you're sick of playing with toxic people or kids, come join the Grow Folks Online community. We have shooters, we have soccer games, football games, Madden games. We have all kinds. If you play it, we have a group of people that play it, so come check us out. And hopefully we'll do some more streaming. We'll do some PUBG streaming, probably tomorrow, maybe some Battlefield streaming. So I know OMFL, you only come hang out for the OMFL stuff, but come support me for some of the other stuff, man. Come check out some of these other games that we do here. I think that you're going to love it. Guys, I got to get to bed because I'm going to get up in like 4 hours, 5 hours, something like that. So I hope that you have a really great rest of your night. I love you, and we'll see you soon. All right, peace and love. Love somebody.
Smash that like and subscribe.